Aston Martin DB12. It's a major year for British marque Aston Martin. In addition to the fact that Fernando Alonso reliably putting the brand's logo at the sharp finish of the Recipe 1 framework, yet the organization is likewise commending its 110th commemoration. What better method for celebrating, then, at that point, than to send off another Aston Martin DB? Particularly as the celebrated DB moniker is itself 75 years of age this year. Meet the 2024 Aston Martin DB12, the first of 8 new Astons planned to make a big appearance over the course of the following 2 years. The DB12, says Aston Martin boss innovation official Roberto Fedeli, is a proclamation vehicle. And when you take a gander at a portion of the title numbers, it's difficult to conflict. 671 strength, 0 to 60 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds, and a maximum velocity of 202 miles per hour. All from a vehicle that replaces the DB11 V8, Aston's outgoing entry-level Grand Tourer. Right away, the DB12 doesn't appear to be all that unique from the DB11, which is as yet one of the most mind-blowing looking GTs in the business. There's a greater grille and sensational venting in the hood, in addition to new headlights, guards, and side ledges. The backside looks practically indistinguishable. In any case, 80% of the vehicle is new, demand Aston insiders. The DB12 conveys all the curbside Aston perfection we anticipate. What's going on is that the genuine cash has this time been spent on execution and dealing with equipment, and on stuff that Aston Martin hasn't done extraordinarily well all of the time. The hardware. The DB12 depends on the DB11, with on a very basic level the equivalent primary hardpoints and powertrain. Be that as it may, the reinforced aluminum body structure is 7% stiffer generally speaking, with the firmness across the front swagger pinnacles expanded by 140% to develop focus feel from the electric controlling framework, which needs 2.4 turns of the guiding wheel to go from one lock to another. The suspension plan and math are equivalent to that of the DB11, however the front track has been broadened by 0.25 inch and the back track siphoned by 0.86 inch. The stiffer design empowers the new Bilstein DTX versatile shocks, which have multiple times the working scope of the DB11's units, to better artfulness haggle movements. The 4.0-liter twin Super V8 in the engine is a similar AMG planned, AMG obtained motor that serves so well in the DB11. Yet changed cam profiles and greater turbos joined with pressure proportion changes have supported capacity to 671 ponies at 6,000 revolutions per minute and force to 590 pounds to foot somewhere in the range of 2,750 and 6,000 revolutions per minute, increments of 34% and 18%, separately. This is the main motor choice. There will not be a V12 fueled DB12. All things considered, the V12 resolution a replacement to the DBS 770 Extreme, a quick and sturdy front motor roadster that will be badged. The DB12 motor drives the back tires through the recognizable ZF 8-speed program utilized across the ongoing standard Aston Martin range, albeit the transmission's electronic mind has been reconstructed to further develop reaction and abbreviate shift times. The last drive has been abbreviated 13% to further develop standing start speed increase and in-gear moving reaction, and interestingly, on a DB Aston, an electronic differential is standard. The DB12 motor drives the back tires through the recognizable ZF 8-speed program utilized across the ongoing standard Aston Martin range, albeit the transmission's electronic cerebrum has been reinvented to further develop reaction and abbreviate shift times. The last drive has been abbreviated 13% to further develop standing start speed increase and in-gear moving reaction, and interestingly, on a DB Aston, an electronic differential is standard. Tying all the new motor and skeleton equipment together is new programming, the most noticeable indication of which is another steadiness control framework that joins 4 mediation conventions: wet, on target, and off, with 5 by and large drive modes: GT, Game, Sport Plus, Individual, and Wet. The default GT mode has been adjusted to guarantee great essential ride quality for significant distance cruising, a sign of the best Aston GTs, while Game and Sport Plus modes snap down body movements and hone the DB12's reflexes. The new security control framework takes information from a huge number of sensors around the vehicle, most strikingly another 6-pivot inertial estimation unit that can construct a continuous comprehension of what the DB12 is doing and foresee accessible grasp levels. Since it permits more unobtrusive powertrain and suspension acclimations to be made before in some random unique situation, the occurrences of a driver feeling the stability control framework pull the vehicle back from the verge are decreased. Massively upgraded interior. The upgraded run includes a flat, full-width vent realistic that supports two 10.3-inch high-goal screens with super dark showcase innovation, one for the instrument board and one in the focal point of the vehicle for the infotainment. You sit low between the shoulder line of the nursery and a mid-control area whose flying supports reach out between the front seats. The DB12's inside, inundated with the rich tang of scaffold-aware cowhide, is extraordinary. It's useful, as well. The PRND exhibit of buttons across the scramble, an Aston highlight since the mid-2000s, has been ousted for a basic and more ergonomically sound switch on the highest point of the mid-control area, like the one in the ongoing Porsche 911. Manual mode is impelled by a button neighboring the switch. Albeit the middle touchscreen flaunts super responsive capacitive control, Aston has admirably opposed the impulse to surrender each actual button to it. All things being equal, there are hard fastens for drive mode choice, all warming and ventilation capabilities, and to deactivate the path control health and park distance control capabilities, in addition to case, soundness control, and sports exhaust settings. The DB12 likewise makes a big appearance of pristine programming engineering, grew completely in-house, that is intended to convey levels of usefulness and network previously unheard of in Aston Martins, as well as working with over-the-air updates and diagnostics and fueling another route framework with dynamic directing as well as a setup of online capabilities. One of the highlights upheld by the new engineering is the Aston Martin application, which can be downloaded to proprietors' cell phones with a remarkable Aston Martin Legenda ID. Accessible for iOS and Android, the Aston Martin application will permit customized content to be introduced in screens that match the new UI in the vehicle. Clients can utilize the application to screen and find their vehicle, send route POIs, and offer incorporated media takes care of with other Aston Martin proprietors. We'll hold on until we get in the driver's seat prior to making a conclusive judgment. Obviously, however, at first colleague, the DB12 is maybe the most significant new Aston Martin excellent sightseer since the DB7. Similarly as the DB7, sent off quite a while back, suddenly yanked Aston Martin into the 1990s, the DB12 marks its entrance into the cutting-edge computerized age. It likewise flags that, in spite of late teases with mid-motor vehicles, Aston is immovably married to the front motor, back-drive design that has supported probably the most traditionally lovely games vehicles and stupendous travelers at any point made.